Sure. Those always require the longest answers, however.
Would you mind going through some of the things that you can put in a shrine for the newbies?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
So generally, and there is a teaching on the shrine by Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche that's available in a monogram form in the bookstore that I highly recommend to you. And Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche describes really the significance of the shrine and how it's set up. Usually there's tiers, the highest being you put the Buddha on the first kind of level. A second level, you can have other kinds of teachers and things. And the last one, you usually have your offering bowls or the things that you put on there. So these often there's 3 levels of the shrine. And we talked about usually 7 bowls that are on the shrine. And you want these to be of the highest quality that you can possibly afford. Often you'll see silver bowls, but they can be glass. When I first started, I used just shot glass. I had this little thing, and I had these little shot glass pour. I spilled more water than I put in there because it was so small and it just overflow. But it's your intention, it's what you bring to it. So you can have brilliant gold bowls, you can have little glass bowls, you can have whatever you like. But as you do this, you're doing this out of generosity and out of gratitude and out of sincere devotion. So the first one is water, just drinking water, which I need a little of. And the other is washing water for bathing or for washing the feet, which was the tradition in India. Flowers. When you go someplace, you often bring flowers as a kind of a gesture. Same on your shrine. Incense. Light in the form of a candle or whatever you would like to have. Perfume water. Fragrant water. Food. And sound, a bell or sometimes a conch, you'll see. But so when we offer these, when you offer incense, it's a mountain of incense. It's all the incense that can fill the multiverse. But it's represented by a stick of incense here. But we offer it in its totality. All the flowers of all the universes ever. We offer that. When you, take a meal, you offer it. When we do our meal before, we always say the meal prayer, offering it to the 3 jewels. When you buy something new, a new piece of clothes, have the presence of mind to offer it for the benefit of all sentient beings. We're cultivating this attitude of awareness and mindfulness post-meditation as well as meditation. So on the cushion is one thing, off the cushion is another. But if you're off the cushion and having an undisciplined, immoral, unethical life, your practice on the cushion is going to suffer. You can't do it like that. And your time on the cushion is going to affect how you are in the world. It's like that. Karma. We've already reflected on that, but so it's a personal choice. Those are the 7 things you usually find in a Tibetan shrine, Tibetan Buddhist shrine. But you can have again, you're offering with your mind. You could just do it in your mind's eye. But making those, and then at the end of the day, after you make that offering, at the end of the day, you do your final prayers, your conclusion, offer the benefit of all the work that you've done in the course of that day. You empty them out. Dry them, turn them over. You don't want to offer empty bowls. Turn them over. Usually, you reuse the water. You throw the water away, put new water in. In some of these, like the drinking water and the foot washing water and the perfume water, those are the bowls that you'd empty. Sometimes you'll have bowls of rice, and you'll have the flowers in that. It can be real or artificial. Incense, stuck in the rice, and food. And sometimes there are what's called tormas that are kind of something that's offered in pujas in the Tibetan ceremonies that you put in your food bowl that you can leave there, and the bell and the rest leave. But then when you fill your bowl, you just take a little extra rice and put it and refresh the bowl like that. Does that make sense? Yeah. So in terms of your offering bowls, how you do that. So the ones with rice in just remain. The ones with water you throw out and turn over. The other ones are still up. You still have your offerings in. And then in the day, when you come to open your shrine, you just have a little bowl of fresh rice and you put it. Do I hear a question coming? Mm-hmm.
For those of us who are sensitive to or allergic to incense, do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, don't use it.
What?
You can put a stick in. You don't even have to light it.
You don't have to light it?
You don't have to light it.
Okay.
No, and a lot of people are, and we're sensitive about that in our Sangha. When we do it, people freak out if there's certain smells, and there are a lot of people who are very sensitive. So sure, if that situation is, don't use it. Buddhism is very practical. We're not trying to cause problems, we're trying to eliminate them. But it is important to talk about off-the-cushion stuff as well. It's not just what happens on the cushion. This is 24/7 practice. Before you go to sleep, it's good if you haven't dedicated the merit just before you go to sleep. Have a little review of the day. Look at your so-called white and black karma. What could you have done better? How could you have done different in a situation that may have been problematic or fraught with difficulty? How could you make it better? And so you resolve to do that. It's not enough to look at it and say, well, I could have done this. And then you say, well, next time I will do that. And you commit to the improvement. And that's how we make progress on the path. But we have to become aware of it first. And this is about cultivating awareness, cultivating mindfulness in body-mind, body-speech action.
Dedicating our practice to all sentient beings. But there's so much that in the world that's non-sentient that is important to me and that I feel a blessing toward also. Is that limiting?
No, include it if you have the time, but in terms of Buddhism, those that are not sentient do not have Buddha nature, but we're particularly interested in benefiting all sentient beings to get rid of their, or to abandon their negative emotions and habitual patterns. We don't say that trees have habitual patterns or that they can realize their Buddha
my
nature.
daughter's car when she's driving away and I want, I just,
Fine. But that car is not going to get enlightened.
Okay. Thank you. I knew there was an answer, but thank you.
Yeah. So when we're doing Tonglen, you can do Tonglen for any sentient being. You can do Tonglen for your dog. Your dog's ill, sending and receiving. We're talking big picture. Yes. But not for your car.
I have a question about prayers and wishes for other sentient beings, and in some ways it seems really moving and deeply human to wish for the alleviation of suffering on the level of no illness, safety, whatever, and there are many prayers that include that. And then sometimes there are prayers for good fortune, for new ventures, and so forth. And yet I'm having a little confusion between the worldly and the wish for ultimate enlightenment. And if we pray for something that could be considered worldly for someone else, how can I reconcile this in my mind?
Well, there's relative reality and there's ultimate reality. We live in a relative world, and we do have sickness and we do have conditions, but even inside of that, when we're doing these prayers, we know that there's no one doing the prayer, there's no one to do prayers for, there's no prayer. It's empty itself. That's the highest realization.
So if you're praying that someone's business takes off well, you're actually
Fine,
praying
maybe
for...
so. We want the best for them. We want them to be happy, and being successful is certainly that, and we wish that in the relative sense. But beyond that, we know that there's no business. There's no person to have a business. There's no one praying for the business to be well.
Uh-huh. So you just rest in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Relatively speaking, yeah.
Isn't there a danger, though, that we're encouraging attachment to the impermanent?
There is, but if you're mindful, you'll be aware of that attachment and let it go.
Okay. And on
That's
their
part of
end,
mindfulness.
we don't worry about that.
The other end being,
Who we're praying for, that they get success in some worldly...
no, we definitely want them to have success, and we're hoping that our prayers will foster that happening. And but you know, in our sense, in our limited realization, we don't know if their success is really the best thing for them. They may be successful, get a lot of money, and become alcoholic. Who knows?
Right.
So we do the best we can given our situation. And under that is the intention to be of benefit to others.
Okay,
through our prayers and our actions.
So we are concerned to help them in the way they feel they will be helped.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the best we can do.
Well, yeah, if that is the best, it's really hard to even in the way that they can be helped. We hope that they'll be helped in the best way possible.
Right, okay.
Even if it's not what they think is the best way. I mean, that's sometimes different. Yes?
What role does doing prostrations play in your daily practice? I mean, some people will come into a shrine room and do 3 prostrations, and is that something that we should be learning about and doing?
That's a good question, because you'll see people come into the shrine room and do these 3 prostrations. When one takes refuge, they take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and part of that vow is to respect the images of the Buddha and the teachings and the enlightened Sangha. So out of respect, both for the image and as kind of a remembrance of your own Buddha nature, you're also bound to your own Buddha nature, you do 3 prostrations. And it is a way of pacifying one's own ego. When we bow down, we are letting go of our own kind of attachments and in a way saying, I value and respect both all Buddha teaching, Sangha. You could, there's, with body, speech, and mind, usually you'll see the hands go here, here, and here. With body, speech, and mind, I bow down to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Yeah, I take my refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and we're just in body, speech, and mind. This being body, this being speech, this being mind. The heart. In the Orient, the Shen, heart, mind, spirit are all located, related to here. Usually when we say mind, we say here. But it's interesting, even in Western culture, we'll have a bust of a person or a head of a person as if that's the person, so the body represented by their head, their face, what they look like. But at any rate, that's how it works. And yeah, there's another meditation that we may do along the way that we'll see how much time we have. That cleanses these 3 centers through color. All right. Any other questions? This is good. Yes.
In most of the instructions that I've heard on Shine meditation, the focus seems to be on the thoughts and not being moved by the thoughts, just letting them pass through. The emotions that arise during meditation seem almost more powerful. So in dealing with those, I guess I'm assuming it would be the same technique?
Absolutely. And for some, those are more powerful. For others, the thoughts are more powerful. For other people, their physical aches and pains are more powerful. It is very dependent upon the individual and those particular causes and conditions.
And what's happening in their life at the time. Yeah, thank you.
But we look at them all with equal detachment. One's not any more rich than another, but we can get into some of them more than others and elaborate and embellish, but that's really not the point of the meditation. It is to observe it with total detachment, mindfulness, awareness, but empty. Don't hold it. So maybe your mind is a little bit more at ease, a little bit more relaxed, having done the meditation over these last couple of days. And we've provided, a foundation for your practice at this point. Knowing that meditation is not sleeping, it does require attention. And it's, although sit comfortably is the Buddhist teaching, it's not, collapsing. It's not, you want to be relaxed, but not, putty. Just, and it's not about wiping the mind clean of thoughts. Thoughts will arise, as we've all noticed. So we're just not attending to those thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It's important, because some people think meditation, you're not supposed to have any thought, and then there's a big judgment about the thoughts. But again, as we see progress along the path, the first stage of shamatha meditation is the waterfall. We said, there's the constant stream of thoughts going. And then gradually begins to mellow out a little bit, still some fits and starts, and then it becomes more deep, and there's the occasional rise of the wave on the ocean, and then subsiding back, and then gradually it subsides altogether, and the ocean is calm, still, reflective. And we've talked a little bit about the deity meditation, the Chenrezi, or these other kinds of Vajrayana practices, which while you're here, if you haven't had the opportunity to experience that, it would be a good opportunity, because this is part of the Vajrayana path to enlightenment. One does these practices in a group and at, on your cushion at home, to generate the qualities of the Buddha, to see yourself as the Buddha doing Buddha activity. So there's the visualization of the generation stage, the palace, and all of the implements and things that go with a particular practice. There's generally the mantra recitation, where we continually recite the mantra of that particular deity that we're practicing, seeing the emanation or the light going out to all sentient beings, bringing them peace and harmony, tranquility, and happiness. And then that is withdrawn back in again and dissolved into emptiness, and we rest in that empty quality once again. That's called the completion stage of the meditation. And that is really the Mahamudra practice, resting in the mind's true state. The natural mind is the highest level of meditation in our tradition. But first we have to start with the foundation. Like we said before, building a house, you need a firm foundation on which to build. You just can't start building the second story when there's no first story. So we have to continue to build. So quieting the mind through shamatha, viewing the mind, and well, maybe we'll all come together next year for part 2 of this introductory Buddhist class, and we can explore more about Vipassana and Mahamudra and the other kinds of things. Now that you had an opportunity to practice for some time, we'll see how that goes. But you'll have many opportunities to come here and to learn from the learned teachers that we have, certainly within our tradition. And I encourage you to look at the schedule, and if there's any time that you have to come back and visit, that you do that. As was said, when we're in a place where We don't have the opportunity to have a sangha, and there are very few people few places that have, a resident Lama to teach. So there are people that have limited experience. But if you can come to a place like this, have opportunity to talk to the teachers, these lineage holders, it is your great good fortune, and you should avail yourself, make yourself available to be around them. Well, to begin, when we sit down to remember, to come with a joyful attitude, to begin with. When you sit on the cushion, you should have a smile on your face, being grateful for this opportunity to sit and practice Buddha Dharma as we went through the 4 foundation exercises, the first being that we have this precious human birth. We should be very grateful for that, and that should definitely bring a smile to your face. So you have that quality of gratitude and joyful discipline in that, joyful participation. So a little smile when you sit. And then we recollect the 4 thoughts that turn the mind. I know some of this has been a little repetitive, but it takes a little while to get into the flow of it, to get into the rhythm of this sitting, walking, Shine, Tonglen, the 4 things that turn the mind to Dharma, the 4 thoughts. Let's go ahead and begin by recollecting the 4 thoughts that turn the mind to Dharma after we've sat on our cushion, and bring a smile to our face and feel the gratitude, particularly being here at KTD, having the opportunity to work together over these 3 days, and the benefit of all of the facilities that we have here, the food and all of the wonderful help that we get from the staff. So we have gratitude. We can't do this on our own. It takes a village. It takes a team. And everything has this interrelatedness. Everything's interrelated. So for me to be here, it took a lot of help from many people. So thinking about the interrelatedness of this. You could look at a piece of paper and, as Thich Nhat Hanh says, see the cloud that caused the rain, that caused the tree, that caused the growth, that caused the person to come and cut the tree down, to process the wood, to make the paper, to deliver the paper, to put the printing on, to get the thing to you. There's a lot of things that went on for this paper. Interrelatedness. And we should be grateful for all of the things, for the cushions, for the shrine, for all of the facilities that are here. We show great gratitude and appreciation that makes my sitting here and your being here possible. So that's the kind of attitude that we're creating in this situation. This total interdependence. So with that first attitude of gratitude, we think of the first foundation, this precious human birth, precious human existence that we have, having all the causes to recognize and to study and to practice the Dharma, all the conditions that are available. We have the Dharma, we have a teacher, the Buddha of this time. His teachings are still available. Unbroken line of tradition from teacher to student down to this very time. We have teachers here, Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche, Bharattuka Rinpoche, Urgent Khenpo Urgent, that are residents here for you. So all of these things allow you to practice really completely the path of Buddha Dharma. So we're grateful for that. And we reflect on the preciousness of this human birth, that all of the causes and conditions have come together to make this possible.